Welcome back to the 100k Sunday roast. Oh, what a glorious week the roast is when the Blues and the Swans get a dub in the same week. Joining me, as always, Darcy Ballard. Dobe, how are you, brother?
Jev, could not be better. I'm starting to wonder if people are going to stop listening because they hate the way that we just carry on, like a couple of pork chops, Jev, or maybe they like to see us win and then we build us up and then they're here for the losses as well. But Jev, as you did mention, it is unbelievable when both sides get two cracking wins against two sides that apparently are, they're coming. The Giants, the big sound. Oh, geez, the big bad Suns, Jev. Oh, they're looking scary. Just standing on business, Jev. It's good, it's comfortable. Football at the end of the day just talks, doesn't it? And the good teams rise to the top.
I think did Lamb Chops just kick the first? I think he did. He just kicked the first.
And I had him.
You had him for first?
Yep, 19-1.
Yeah. Oh, well. So we're recording right before the North Melbourne Hawthorn game, as you can hear, because we've just had the first goal scorer. And to be fair, one of those teams is extremely lucky because they're going to get an L and they're lucky we're not recording after, or they would cop a hiding from me.
Oh, boy. I can't wait for some DMs. Eddie Ford, let's go 19-1, Jeff.
We love the chops. Fuck, should we nearly pause this and you should get a quick story up, Dobe? Or
Yeah, I'll get
pause.
up now.
Let me pause. All right, we're back because Das just had to get a story up about the chops. All right, let's go all the way back to Thursday night, Das, where the Saints embarrassed themselves. Just straight up embarrassed themselves. The Dogs win by 60 points. The Dogs have their best game of the season, probably. Oh, they're the biggest roller coaster ever, the Dogs. But talk to me about this game.
Jeff, I was at work, so I had this one in the ear. So I've gone back and watched the short for it. Norton kicked the first, Jeff. He had an unbelievable game. A lot of people have been eating their own comments about the Dogs over the week, saying Norton should go back. Maybe he should go back. But against this side, Jev, where they hang themselves on defense, you got Battle, you've got Wilkie, Jev, all-Australian, pyramid player, get him in there. Oh, they're defensive, the Saints, Jev. They're good. And Norton took the piss. So he kicked the first. Don't have the odds for this one, unfortunately. Caminese kicked the second. And then after that, Jev, I had Cody Waitman for an abundance of goals. He kicked 3 goals in a row. So bang, bang, bang. He's got 3 on the board. And I've got him for 4, 5, and 6. I just need one more for each quarter. For 6 goals, paying 81-1.
Oh, that would have been nice.
Did not have a sniff after it. He had 3 touches after the second quarter, 1 after half time. But it was all over, Jev. It was game over. Sam Darcy took over. The Tools took over. Rory Lobb even looked okay, Jev. Rory Lobb was running through the middle.
That's when you know the Saints are struggling.
I just want to know, is he doing the work, or is this on St Kilda's part for letting him being able to run through the middle? But it was an absolute massacre. So I think there was about 20,000 people there. So just goes to show you the sort of supporters they are. They can't get out on a Thursday night, but they ran all over him. The super sub came on, Bailey Dale from last week, 39 and a goal. At one stage, he was at 24 disposals at 96% by foot. He was going out there to make a point. St Kilda a week, Jev. Oh. And Bont, even just still a quiet game, but he had 3 goals and 24. So they just let everyone do whatever they wanted to. I thought Treloar in the middle was fucking awesome without Libba there. His clearance work. He's a good footballer. Has been for a long time. Sometimes he maybe not the best disposal, but he's really good at ground clearance. But it was a massacre, Jev. Love to hear what you have to say about the Saints. What do you honestly think?
So the Saints it's like a crossroads. They've got 2 ways to go here. It's either stay the completely tiny, small club you are, play Sunday 110 games, win games, make finals, never win a flag because they're not going to win a flag, but win a couple of finals, it's good. Or play primetime games on Thursday night, get some crowd there, stop complaining you played 4 games in 11 days and fucking win these games you're supposed to. Because right now it's a big crossroads because they're the smallest club in the AFL and they embarrassed themselves again. And then they just came out and said, we've played 3 games in 11 days or whatever it is. It's like, you're just not that good. It was just no talent out there again. And I got a few DMs about how A-grade midfielders don't grow on trees and all this stuff, and people rip me, and that is fine. But fuck's sake, like, you're just horrible. Ross Lyon is your best player. So I don't know. Like, what do you want me to say about the Saints? They're just they're a relevant club in the AFL. They're never going to win a flag unless they get Bontempelli. So they're going to have to trade for Bont, Harley Reid, and Nick Larkey over the next, and probably Sam Taylor. So if they do that in the offseason, they could probably make prelim weekend. But I don't know. They just embarrassed themselves. I was at the footy club, had a shower, got my schnitter, looked up, 1 goal to 1 goal, had 3 bites. Cody Waitman kicks 3 in 3 minutes. It's 7 goals to 1 goal, game over at quarter time. Dogs do whatever they want. Every player for the Dogs 8, as you just said. Bailey Dale was basically dropped last week. Sub, superstar player, has 39. Treloar does what he wants. Norton does what he wants. Waitman only has to play a quarter. Bont kicks 3 in a quiet game. Like, Sam Darcy looked good. Rory Lobb looked good. Who's the other key back? Liam Jones looked good. Like, just every dog played well. It's one of those games like you just kick the shit, like the longest yard. We used to play a Div 2 team, kick the shit out of them.
Yeah.
That was what it was. So, yeah. Like, what do Saints supporters want me to say? What do they want to hear from me?
I think that's it, Jev. I just think you hit the nail on the head. I've got a little game for you. Words by association. So I'm just going to read out some players' names. Just give me like a 1 to 2 maybe word answer. The first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay. First thing that comes to mind. All right.
Zane Cordy.
Local footy.
Dan Butler.
Hammy rehab.
Mateus Philippou.
Myth.
Wilkie.
All-Australian accountant.
Owens.
Uncage him.
Liam Stocker.
Danger's knee. Still in his ass.
Molly Meldrum. Seb Ross.
No comment.
Jack Sinclair.
Needs to find form.
Riley Bonner.
Turnover machine.
Ooh, Brad Hill.
Elite running pillow.
Oh, the pillow.
He's a bit fluffy, a bit soft.
Just a bit soft.
Oh,
yeah,
no,
Jev.
I don't want to be too harsh. No. It's the first segment.
I don't mind that, Jev. So I'm just going to have a quick look now. Sorry, guys, we don't have the odds on this one. Absolutely Dogs. So they got Port Adelaide, North Melbourne, Hawthorn, the Dockers. So you think the Saints get on a run the next few weeks, Jev? But if they don't, just a couple of these games cost them. Yes, they played well against Geelong, but that's not going to get you 4 points.
Yep.
They dogged it against Essendon, which we'll go into in a minute, actually had a really good win. They obviously came back against GWS, but then they drop another one.
Yep.
You got to keep winning these games. What are they? 3-3 now. It's going to kill you. And the Dogs, Jev, winning cures everything. We've said it a lot. They won. They move on. And in recent years, they have started quite slow, haven't they? And then takes them a little bit of a while to get into a bit of rhythm. But same thing, Jev. It's hard to get a read on a lot of these teams. Good win by the Dogs, like fantastic win. The Saints, you're going to be licking your wounds. There is going to be some tape shown. It's going to be a bring your mouth guard, Jev.
Yeah.
At training for the Saints.
And they've got Port Adelaide, who basically got embarrassed themselves at Adelaide Oval Friday night. They're not going to win that game. Then, as you said, it's a cupcake schedule. But I hope Saints supporters don't do their usual lock us in. Once they go and beat North, Hawks, whoever, Freo at Marvel. If they do the usual here we come shit, it's when you play the big dogs, you got to win, and they just don't. So anyway, Port Adelaide, like, is it a must win for the Saints? Port Adelaide at Adelaide Oval, is that a must win, or is that
100%?
When you're a small club like St Kilda, is that just a bit of a we probably won't go to Port Adelaide and win, but after that we should get on a roll? Like, is that the way they think, or are they going to go there and win the fucking game?
You like to think that they try and go out there. You got to win this time of year, Jev. You don't want to be playing catch up at the back end of the year. So Dogs absolutely pulled down the Saints' pants and gave them one right between the cheeks. All right, next game, Jev. Adelaide and Essendon. This one in the ears as well at work. You were watching. This sounded like a fucking cracking game. Yeah. Like a little bit slow, it seemed like to start off with. And then it was just going like the Crows get 7 goals in a row. Essendon come back, lead changes, controversy, everything you want in a good game of footy. What did you see actually sitting down and watching it?
It was an awesome game. The Bombers are actually really good. They're very good, Das. Just the way they play is it's a bit like roulette. It's real like money or bust sort of thing. So they put pressure. They put like all this pressure on the ball in their front half. It's elite. But as soon as they turn it over, teams with a little bit of class or teams that can hold up to the pressure a bit, maybe break a tackle, get a bit of a handball chain going, seem to kick really easy goals against them, like take it end to end, get good shots on goal and kick good goals. I'm sure the Bombers fans will agree, but their pressure, they really dominated this game. It was a couple of Crows players that kept the Crows in it, and then the Crows should have won it in the end. They should have pinched it. So I'm trying to be really nice to the Bombers because I thought they were good and I can see what they're trying to do and they're getting really good at it and they've got good players on the field and stuff. But fuck, they were nearly lucky to get away with this one. If it wasn't for one player shitting himself about 5 times, I'm not going to name names. Everyone knows who it is. I'm not going to say names.
Josh Shelley.
You said it. No, I don't know. You see how the media's been really nice about it and they've brought it up, but then they've been nice about it. It's like, oh, you can't really say anything anymore. Surely he would not play for the Swans. If you did that for the Swans, you just don't play. That's why Dill Stevens now plays for North Melbourne. He was too soft. He just, too many moments. Joshua Shelley would not play for the Swans with efforts like that. Like he'd just be in the twos. It's just not acceptable in Sydney. So I'm going to be shocked. Will he play twos or will they pump him up and give him a cuddle and he'll stay in the seniors? What do you think?
I reckon they'll probably put their arms around him, show the vision. I reckon that's just what the sort of club that Adelaide are, Jev. You just got to, it doesn't matter if you're a number 1 pick or you're a first rounder, on the chopping block you go. But I'll tell you who did miss, Jev. That's Mark Rasciuto. He disowned him. I was listening to him and Bernie Vince. He's like, Rochelle has blatantly shat himself there. There's nothing else. There's no other words to say about it. But you did mention, Jev, tackles. Essendon had 80 to 63. On the call, it sounded like that they were getting a heap of pressure. And a couple of our Essendon mates said like how good that pressure was. And then inside 50, 62 to 43. So it sounded like they were getting way more of the entries and but the Crows would just kept coming in towards the end. Probably that is a free kick at the end. We don't usually talk about the controversy sort of stuff. We just for one little bit, we like to talk about the whole game instead, but that's a free kick. He dived on the ball. I just want to know. I want to know what would have happened. So, when you watch a game of footy, so when they blow for a ball up, you hear the whistle as the umpire's running to get the ball and he's running with his arms like that. Then he grabs the ball. But when they call holding the ball, they are watching it and they stay 10 metres away from the pack and they stand there, blow the whistle and dangle the arms. And it sort of takes 5 seconds. I want to know if that umpire was going to call holding the ball, it would have taken 3 more seconds, right? And he would have been waiting outside. And as he goes to blow the whistle, if the siren goes, does Adelaide still get that free kick or did the siren go before he blew his whistle? Because I reckon it was going to be like a buzzer beater of the whistle going or the siren going if he was going to call holding the ball. And would they have gotten the decision or would the siren have saved him sort of thing? Because the clock was still ticking before he made his call. If the siren goes, I'm assuming if he hasn't blown his whistle, it's game over. But he had to get in early. But yeah, as you said, maybe another second or two if there was time on the clock.
That's what,
maybe he pays it. But it seems like in that moment, there was never really any umpire coming in, even another umpire, but that's holding the ball. It seemed like they were pretty happy to sort of let that one go and just be it's pretty hard. People are jumping on it. I think it's just because they thought someone else was going to come in and tackle or he was going to do something. He just lay there. And I think he just caught him off by surprise. That's it. That's game over. But another great win, Jev. Langford kicked some goals too. Dawson had a really good game, Jev. Back to form.
Yeah, he was awesome.
2 goals, 31 touches. When I heard he was kicking goals, I'm like, fuck. Maybe this is a game where the Crows really start to get on a roll. But only one win now, Jev. They play when they versus the Blues the other week. I reckon they would have beaten most teams playing with that pressure.
Yeah,
they just played really well and they just couldn't hold it against the Bombers. Fantastic pressure. Good game.
I'll tell you, I want to give some love to an Essendon player. I'll tell you who I fucking love, and I think Essendon fans would fucking love him. Sam Durham. It's not he's never going to be in my pyramid, but let's just start there. He's never going to be in pyramid, but he's just physicality and the way he creates a collision, then has a smother, then lays a tackle, then breaks a tackle and just gets hands to Zach Merritt, flies for a ball, cops a hit. He's just a do everything guy for the Bombers, and like sort of like that role Trent Cotchin started playing for Richmond to win flags, like when it's time for a big tackle or a big smother or crash your body in. Bit like Callum Mills plays for the Swans in a way. Like he was just fantastic. And it doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but it's watching the game. You're like, again, he just got that little tackle in or a bump in or a collision and this and that. He was great. And then I tell you who else was fucking awesome, Taylor Walker. He plays exactly like Christian Petrarca, basically. He's a centre forward, but he's a tall. And if he marks the ball anywhere within 80 metres, his kick is deadly. He was wheeling on the left and just lacing blokes for certain goals, wheeling on the right, lacing blokes, kicking goals from outside 50, kicking goals himself. He is just a fantastic centre of forward footballer. And it's just years and years, and it's almost 300 games. Oh, he was the one keeping the Crows in it. So it was just good to watch him back to his best. It's like, yeah, it's like if Christian Petrarca was 6'5" or whatever Tex is, that's the way he was just delivering the ball inside 50. It was just great to watch. He's probably the best just open field kick on both sides of his body in the comp. So just those two stood out to me. Durham and Tex Walker were both awesome.
Yeah, what I want to say on Durham, I figure that you might like him. I know you like a Finn McGuinness. You sort of like those tagging players and the guys. So watching the Bombers preseason stuff, clubs are getting way better with it now, like posting like what they do preseason. And he's like the second fittest at the club.
Yep.
In the time trial. And like they were interviewing him before, and he seems like a larrikin. He's like, I'm just going to try and hold the pace as much as I can, then just try and bring it home. Like, seems like pretty funny. So I think he comes second in their time trial, only just. Like, yeah. So he's super fit. And exactly what you said, like, the fitter you are, the more contests you're going to get to. Yep. And you don't have to be the best player, but if you can impact in the small little nitty-gritty stuff, smothers, tip balls, tackles, all that sort of stuff, that's what you need as a team player, because not everyone's going to do that. But so you need those grunt work guys.
To me, he's the sort of guy that wears a premiership medal for Essendon. It's not getting like him or Darcy Parish right now. I know like a couple of years ago you'd never say that, but it's like the way Durham works with Merritt and what he does for the team, whereas I think Darcy Parish just lopes around a little bit. He was better on Friday night, but like, you know what I'm saying? He's your premiership player. Zach Merritt's your premiership player. Like, these guys are going to be in the Essendon premiership if they ever win. So it's like, yeah, I just like him. I like Sam Durham. Do you have any odds for this game?
No, I didn't get this one. I've got all the other ones though.
Right.
For Saturday.
All good.
In that game, it was a pretty short, like, there's only 2s and 3. Like, no one kicked 3 goals. It's only 2 goals. Like, Langford kicked a couple. Dawson 30. Saligo's been really good, Jev, but
he's been good.
That would have been the only markets. But the next game, Jev, so this is before we were on the way to the footy, Blues Giants. So Port versus Pies, check early. My man Zach Butters kicked the first goal at $31. Butters had a goal and 15 touches in the first quarter, and Port up by 31 points at one stage.
Yeah, they kicked the first 6, I think.
Jeez, they're running away with it. And then someone unplugged the power, Jev. Will Hoskin-Elliott was out there at one stage, Jev, looking like prime Dustin Martin. Like, he was dead set running around, making all the Port players look silly. Took a hanger, kicking goals, but the thing that stood out to me, Lipinski kicked 4, which is just fucked. Like, you can only get him for 3. We put that one up on the stories. But I went back and watched the mini because obviously you don't have time to go watch all of it. Bobby Dazzler
is a
and
star.
Schultz missed a couple goals, but the smalls in this game, Bobby Dazzler went absolutely nuts. Like, if you go watch him and what he did, it's only 1 goal, 15 touches, but the time that he has it in his hand, turns guys left and right, kicks blokes open, kicks goals. Like, he's electric. And Port Adelaide, they're going to lick their wounds back on that fly because they had that one. Horn Francis, did you see his goal?
Nah.
Oh my God. It was probably the last one they kicked before the Pies started coming. Forward 50 stoppage on like the right-hand side.
Yep.
He gets it, arches his back, and just runs through and kicks a drop punt on the outside of his foot from like 45. And it is absolutely fucked. I'll make sure I'll get it and send it to you. You'll love it. He's just like, oh my God. He looks like It was like a prime Judd, or no, he looks like a prime Dangerfield. That's exactly what he looked like burst away from stoppage. And then they just went to soup the power. I actually like them, but fuck, everyone stood up. Dobe had a really good game, 27 touches. The Dacos boys started to get back into it. Tom Mitchell in and under was giving some good hands, like that premiership sort of football, which got him there last year, Jev. We saw that identity all over this game.
Can you say, like with bass in your voice, that you think Port Adelaide can win the flag? I can't trust them in a big game on the G or a big game in general. They've gone out straight sets 2 years in a row. They're fucking awesome. We all love their talent. We all love Zach Butters. But as soon as it's like big game, MCG, you know, you've got to win a final against Collingwood on a Friday night at the MCG, I just can't trust them. And saying that, you can nearly rule them out of premiership contention. I don't know if I'm overreacting, but you're 6 goals up in the first quarter. You're 3 goals up at quarter time. You're 6 goals to 1 up at one stage of first quarter, and then you end up losing by 40 points. It's a 70-point turnaround. Like, what? Just as soon as they don't have the ball in their hand, they're so suspect. How many games yesterday? So on the Sunday Footy Show, they were comparing Will Hoskin-Elliott to Jeremy Cameron. That's like what he looked like. But I was watching the highlights. I was watching the highlights this morning, and it's just Alir and Radagalia and stuff, just watching blokes fly for the ball, hoping they drop it. Like, that's what they're in the team for, to kill everything. And it's just everyone flying and taking marks, and they're just, you know, pile inspectors, pack inspectors. They're just standing there looking, hoping they drop it. Port Adelaide get away way too much with teams that make mistakes and give them the ball back. As soon as a team like Collingwood and Bobby Dazzler, who's like elite, like he's in his prime and an elite small forward right now. As soon as you give him time and space in the forward line, especially a team like Port Adelaide who don't like defending, he just cooked them. He just absolutely cooked. What he kicked to himself, 4 direct goal assists where he like handballed it to guys in the goal square, like gave him certainties that he could have just had a snap himself, good enough to finish, but made sure Collingwood kicked a goal. And it's just like, if you're, when you come up against Port Adelaide, GWS did in the final last year, just don't let them have the ball, keep the ball, win the contest, kick goals, put pressure on them. They just go to soup. So I don't know. I nearly want to say I'm ruling them out of winning the premiership because I don't trust them on a big game on the MCG.
Yeah. We were there last year, round 2, Jev, where they got spanked by 78 points, I think, when we were there. Nick Dacos kicked that unbelievable goal. But, yeah, they need to start travelling a little bit better. It was after that game last year, I think they went on 7 or 9 wins in a row or whatever.
17. Wasn't it 17 or something? No, you're right. It was 9 in a row after that game, Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it was 9 in a row. So the best thing is if you're losing at least this time of the year, you can correct it. There's coaching that can come in. So you get a lot of lessons learned. Not all losing's bad, but this is a bit of a shellacking. So you'd like to think that they would come back on that a little bit better for next week. Some markets, Jev. So we got Lipinski. You could only get him for 3 goals, unfortunately. What did I say he was? I had him at 20. Where you go? $23. Brody Mychek, Jev, for 3 goals. This is actually great value. He's their number 1 forward. That's $4.
It's nice.
If you think of your number 1, Mitch Georgiades was $3.90. Who else do we have? You couldn't even get Hoskin-Elliott for 2, which absolutely sucks. What about some touches? We had Butters, and all the touches are pretty short here, Jev. You got Butters for 30 touches at $2.45. Dacos for 30 at $2.15. So he's actually started to go out because he hasn't been getting as much of it, Jev. So they're your biggest market movers. So there's not too much. All the rest around 20-odd touches. So not too much more there. But the Pies are finally starting to get rolling, Jev. They were very quiet. Mason Cox, could you hate a man's get-up more? He's got the one sock up the shin guard, a shitty golf glove, and some goggles.
Oh,
he looks like
he struts around and he gets the crowd going, I love how much it is, how easy he makes it to hate him. That's why you got to love him at the same time, but you got to hate him.
He's like a wrestler. He's like a dead set heel.
He's a wrestler, He's a WWE heel, and he's put out there to give you the shits, and it works. That's why you like liking him. Just talking about how we were at that the game last year, Port Adelaide Collingwood at the G when they won by 70. How about Bobby Hill's growth from that game to fucking now? That game, he played a crappy role where he was just holding the fat side wing the whole game, and like so they couldn't switch it. Now he's like the most dangerous forward in the comp. Like, give him time and space inside 50, and there's going to be a goal kick. So super happy for Bobby. He's a good player. Next game, Dobe. Under the lid in the igloo, it was bloody freezing. We went there. This game was fucking crazy. The Blues get it done by 19 points over the undefeated GWS Giants. Talk to me.
Binger Daniels, Jev, kicked the first goal. Our man, one of the smalls, $18. It was a cracking game of football, Jev. End-to-end sort of stuff. It was a really good brand of footy. Under the lid, it's been cracking this year so far, apart from the Saints that absolutely shirked it the other night. GWS kicked the ball really well. They do pick you apart. Now, I was listening to Hoyne. We listened to him. He's a guy from Champion Data. So the way that Carlton were playing last year, we had a lot of losses, but our contest game was really good. But that still doesn't stack up to making prelims. But we just sort of got lucky and we got on the back end of some really like good wins. This year, our contest work hasn't been as good, but our turnover game is 1 or 2 best in the comp.
Yep.
And he said that sort of football will take you to a prelim or even further. So when we were watching, we were sitting right behind the goals so we could watch it. And the first half when the Giants were up, I'm like, we were watching. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? We're not defending. We're like playing this crappy zone and they're just picking us apart. And then in the second half, what they've done is we've just tightened up that pressure a little bit more. So all we're doing, we're banking a turnover. So we're just waiting for it to come. And we're watching, like, they're picking us off. If we can try and get a hand in, because as soon as the turnover is, we go south to north as fast as anyone, and we get entries. We get ones over the back. Forwards are splitting out in different directions inside 50. Durden's coming out being a hit-up target. Cottrell's being a hit-up target. And you can see that's where the game is going to be won for us this year. The Blues can keep it up. Like I said, we were still able to be scored against, which is a bit frustrating. But once they tighten that up and you bring the pressure a little bit more, it's just all turnover. It was like a tsunami, essentially, but the other way. So at least we can see now. On TV, you can't see that. So It might be really frustrating. But when we were directly behind the goals, it was so interesting to watch in the second half. Once we turned up the pressure a little bit, we were able to go forward and then obviously getting our stars into the game much more. But yeah, it was really interesting. I was like sort of disappointed the first half. I'm like, yeah, we're thereabouts, but actually seeing what the game plan is and watching the game unfold. Once we got to that stage ahead, like the crowd got into it, the Giants just couldn't get themselves back into it. Really good win. That was as good as a win that I can remember beating a really good club for a long time.
Yeah, their Blues were fucking fantastic. Exactly what you're saying to us. It is so weird to watch the Blues from level 2 behind the goals. They're just like getting players into a defensive position, but not defending, as you said. So like the numbers are there and they're rolling around in a zone, but they're not really defending. Like you can pick them apart and we're watching and GWS are winning by 20 points and like, what are they doing? Like, they're making it so easy for GWS to kick goals. And then, as you said, after halftime, it tightens a little bit. And as soon as a team does an average kick into the forward line and it gets into Carlton's hands, oh, God, you guys are good at taking it end to end with efficiency and then getting it into Harry, Charlie, DeConning in one-on-ones, and they just kick goals. That 7-goal third quarter is entrenched in my mind of just how easy you were doing it. One thing about the Giants as well, I think Sam Walsh and Pat Cripps pantsed Tom Green, Callan Ward, who else was going through there? Like Callie, he was a bit more on the wing. Blake Acres a bit of a bath, but
a little bit.
Callie was in there a little. They missed Cornelio, like Xavier O'Halloran. They gave them a bath. Like Pat Cripps, we were saying yesterday, deserves 4 Brownlow votes and Walsh can have the other 2. And it was, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a bit of the Giants' arrogance, which you got to have arrogance. You got to think you're the best team in the comp to win the flag. But the amount of times Carlton walks straight out the front of stoppages with handball chains, getting good entries. So that was an awesome game. You guys have your injury list. Sam Taylor wasn't there. Sam Taylor's a big difference, but I just think you were too good for him. Might have been a bit different, and those 7-goal third quarters might have turned to 4-goal third quarters with him because he's such a good player. But just watching the way you guys are just setting up the ground as a full team and you're waiting for a team to turn over and then your efficiency, kicking a goal. And it's like, yeah, watching Cottrell live yesterday, I know he says you don't go to the footy to watch Cottrell. He's awesome. He's fucking awesome. Like, he's just a good footballer out there. He's a good role-playing footballer. Like I was pumping up Sam Durham before, he does his job. He will beat his man and he'll pop up for a goal because he runs hard when you win the turnover. He gets involved in the chain. So the Blues were great. Jacob Wiedering got a nice corky. He'll be sore this week. Who you got next week? The Cats. Oh, you don't want him sore on Big Hawk or Big...
Next we got Cats, Collingwood, Melbourne, Sydney, Gold Coast. So we've still got a pretty good run, which I'm excited for. But the three big takeaways from yesterday, depth is playing a massive part. So we've seen the injury list: Chera, Cunningham, Doherty, Fogarty, Marchbank, Martin, McGovern, Motlop, Sard, Silvani, and Zach Williams got subbed out first half of the first half of yesterday. So
what did he do? Sorry,
his Achilles.
Sore.
Sore Achilles. No, I don't think he's done it, but just sore. So they just subbed him out. So with those guys being out, the Blues role players have to come across for the ride. You know, a lot of people were saying Brock Purdy, like he's a game manager. Yeah. And like you've got the players that win you the games, quarterbacks, and then you got game managers. All that our role players have to do, just don't lose the game.
100%.
So you guys just you don't need to win it for us. Just don't lose it and let the stars shine, which they did, apart from Wiedering because he did a corky. But the best players for us, Walsh, Cripps, Curnow, Harry, and De Koning.
Yep.
And usually it's Wiedering. So you let your stars be stars and your other guys just manage your job and let the guys go to work.
Yeah, don't play out of your means. Like guys like, who's the guy that did a good job on Toby Green yesterday? Young fella.
Jordan Boyd.
He doesn't need to be sprinting out of the back line, hitting little left foot, little chiselers into the corridor 45s. Kick it down the line to Harry because Harry takes those marks. Like, don't play out of your means. Guys don't need to get too fancy with taking on tackles. If the hand's there, just give the first give. So much just basic under 12s footy for majority of the Carlton players, and then the superstars just be superstars and you win football games. And you just got it done yesterday.
Other one, you need to put 120 minutes into Charlie Curnow, Jev.
Yeah.
Like a dog at the dog park. If he gets off the leash, he's gone. And you better go try and put him back on the leash quickly because you might not even get him back. It only took 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
3 goals. But it's not only that, he's virtually unstoppable once he gets going. Not only does he bring his teammates into it, but he brings the crowd into it.
Yeah.
And they're the 23rd player. When you're at a home game, how much louder is it when Charlie goes near or he kicks a goal? Everyone goes nuts. And the third thing I really want to put on the map, Vossi's coaching this year, he's been incredible. The amount of times that, yes, he's still got the game plan, but his ability to move magnets around and actually off our losses from previous years, he's learned from it. Against Brisbane, he was able to make changes and then we were able to go forward. We've had so many times this year. Last week, so he went to put Curnow back, but then he didn't call his defender back. So then he actually had to defend. But then yesterday, sometimes when Charlie went back, he either was defending, specifically like went on Toby Green because Wiedering was sore, or he could just play that third man. Yep. And then, as I said, the way that the midfield went, boys, let's just try and crack in a little bit more. And Sam Walsh and Cripps were fucking awesome. But as you said from stoppage, the ability to get that first win, Cripps is into out, and then if you give Sam Walsh 2 steps, like he's gone. And then we're getting so many entries. So it was an unbelievable team game. Role players are role players. Stars absolutely shun.
And if anyone ever questions Pat Cripps' spot in the pyramid, his game just equals winning. What he does out in the field is the reason Carlton win. The way he takes tackles for his team to give it to the guy that's loose. Like if it's a 2-on-1, he'll wear a tackle, get dumped to the ground, hand it out to Walsh or anyone. It is just unbelievable watching him live. He was amazing yesterday. And credit to the Blues fan. 4:10 Saturday afternoon, you get 40,000 out of 50,000 at the Loud House. There was about 500 Giant supporters there. They were loud. The Blues are excited. They're up and about. That was a great game. You got some odds, Das?
Yeah, I do. So De Koning kicked 3 goals, Jev, but you could only get him for 2, unfortunately. So that was $10.50 for 2 goals. For 3 goals, we've got, where'd we go?
Josh Kelly.
What was that?
Josh Kelly for 3?
Yeah, he paid, where'd he go? I had that on my phone. I posted that earlier. Where'd that one go? He was $14.
It's nice.
Which is nice. Cripps and so Kerno and Mackay were only like a couple bucks each. But for some disposals, do you have the disposals there?
Yeah, what Cripps had 39, so what do you have for 30? What did you get him for 35?
35, he was $3.35, which is nice. For $40. For 40 touches, he would have been $23.
Oh, he one touch off. Walsh 35. What did he pay for 35? Second
Walsh
game back.
For 35. Oh my God. He's only $2.25.
After one game missing off stand. Shows how good he is. I do the pyramid in 2 more weeks. He's back in. He's in the top 21 players in the league. He doesn't need the form. You go and watch him. He is a star.
Well, if we say going off form, which obviously goes in the pyramid we don't want to talk about last year, if you look at his last 5 games, so he won the Garriers medal for his 3 final performances.
Yeah, he was
unbelievable. And
unbelievable.
his first 2 games this year, his last 5 games.
Unbelievable.
It's top 21. Next pyramid he has to be in. Cracking game. We've got a really good run on. One concern, though, for the Giants. No Cogs. No Sam Taylor for another week. Toby Green's probably getting a week. And Jesse Hogan's probably getting a week for striking.
Jesse Hogan might just get off. Who do they have next week, the Giants?
They have Anzac Day Eve against Brisbane.
Brisbane in Canberra. That's MO. That's Canberra, isn't it?
Yeah, Marnie Crow.
So that's a big game because the Lions, we might as well get into it now. The Lions dropped their 3rd game out of 3 games at the Gabba this year, Das, to the Cats by 26 points in the pouring rain. The Lions have lost more games at the Gabba this year than they had the previous 3 years.
Yeah, wow.
So that is just unbelievable. So the Cats are just the fucking Cats. They're so good. They win by 26 points. They just handled the conditions better. We saw a bit of this clip when we went to the pub after we watched a bit of this game and it was pouring rain, but we didn't sit down, watch full 4 quarters. You probably watched a KO mini this morning, Das. What did you see?
Yeah, so the Cat, as you did mention, it was fucking pissing down. Lincoln McCarthy kicked the first for anyone in the first goal scorer, so that was $16. Brisbane had them and they were working them, and then the Cats just got on a little bit of a run, and then the second half they just ran all fucking over them. I just can't believe how much of just like a team they are. So if you look 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the top 7 possession getters on the ground were Brisbane players.
Yeah.
And then Duncan was the most with 24. Is that just like not the most Duncan game? 24, Holmes 24. Then Bose had 21, and then no one else had over 21.
Yep.
Tanner Bruin, Guthrie, Dangerfield, Myers. It wasn't sexy, but you know what they were doing? They just took it back to old school football.
Yep.
Play territory. Get it fucking forward.
Yeah.
Tom Hawkins laced out this fucking Tory, and they were just getting on the end of him and just finishing.
Yeah.
They're a fucking smart football team. Chris Scott, we mentioned it earlier, like how good of a coach he is. The amount of times that they have deep final runs and they just get blokes in. Who else do we have from the football factory?
Yeah.
Get him in. Get Atkins in. Brad Close is in there. Dempsey. Yep, you're all good. Like, just roll them out. They're just such a good team. It's a cracking win.
Yeah. It's you saw when Geelong, you know, in the wet territory, quick kick on the boot. You can still show a bit of class in the wet, but it's all about meters gained and everything. Like, just get it going forward. But Geelong kept their structure when they were going forward. They always had a player for the quick kick, the longer kick, everything. They had Geelong players everywhere. There was a couple of clips of Brisbane. They'd get their numbers around the ball, quick kick out of the pack, bang. Zach Guthrie just marking everything. Tom Stewart knocked himself out, bang. Anyone, all of them, College Asney, they just marked everything. Switch, Geelong, and just, you think Link McCarthy kicked the first. Zane Dorco got a gift 100-metre penalty. Did you see that 100-metre penalty he got? Took him to the goal square. They've kicked 4 goals for the game, Das. 1 was a gift and they kicked the first. So they kicked 2 goals really for the whole game of footy. Like, Geelong just do what Geelong do. Jeremy Cameron not kicking 2. I thought it was going to cost us the 100K.
Mind you, Jev, I think we need it. Obviously, sometime when we're coming on a Tuesday night, like, we're just trying to get the legs, look at the form. We definitely have to just take a second to have a look at the weather sometimes.
Yep.
because we probably wouldn't have put it in.
Yep.
We probably would have thinned out this game a little bit more.
Yep.
But then
Not
again,
in the
you're probably
weather.
like, nah, he'll kick 2, but it was a fucking monsoon.
Yeah,
Like,
it was fucking pouring.
It was bucketing down. So, unfortunately, but the Cats, we did said 3 weeks ago, Jev, what's the best team to buy? Cats at 13-1. They started the year at like 34, came into 24 early. They've still got so many home games coming towards the back end of the year. They're just a team. Going to be a cracking game next week against the Blues. I can't wait for it. A couple of markets, Jev, there wasn't many. Dane Zorko kicked 2 goals, but because he's been playing halfback, you couldn't even get him for an anytime, which is really annoying. I don't know why they just don't load up the list a little bit more. You couldn't get to Koning for 3. Oliver Henry kicked 2, which was paying $2.18, which is nice. Stengel for 2. Couple of the smalls, $2.65. And then touches, there really isn't many. So everyone was there. We didn't have one over 30, and the most was Lockie Neal, $1.38 for 28 touches. There wasn't much in this game. If you had a same gamer on, you're just praying that a couple of you guys get over 20 to
Yeah, it's a tough game to bet on.
Yeah, tough game to bet on.
Just quickly, Darcy, so on that show on the 100K show where you called buy Geelong stock now, remember we put the multi on Jesse Hogan-Coleman, Bont Brownlow, Geelong Premiership. It was paying $1,100 on the night, and we put it on. We put it on 3 different times. So we're not getting profit in cash out yet, but if you want to put that multi on right now, it pays 300 to 1. 300 to 1. So Geelong have got
700.
Jesse Hogan was 7 to 1. Bont was 12 to 1. Geelong was 13 to 1. Now, if you were to put it on, you get Jesse Hogan at 5 to 1, Bont at 9 to 1, and Geelong at 7 to 1. So all of them have changed, and now it's 3 to 1. So that was a great call by you. And as we said, we put on 3 times. As soon as we get profit for the first bet, we're cashing out, taking our profit, leave the other 2 ride for a bit longer. So perfect stuff. Next game, there's a new king in town. I can't believe how much I fucking love this kid. The Eagles win Derby 58 by 37 points, Stars. They gave them a touch-up. Do you have a kick the first?
Yeah, Elliot Yeo, $41.
41. Then he won the Glenn Denning medal as well.
Oh, you know what? The only robbery of the night was David Mundy had his Fremantle glasses on, and he only gave Harley Reid 1 vote. Did you see that video?
Yeah, I did. That was very funny.
That is hilarious. 4 goals, 1 to 3 points in the first quarter. They pile on another 5 after that, another 5 after that, and then 2 goals in the last quarter. 16-9 to 10 goals, 8, 105 to 68, Jev. The fucking Eagles are a watchable team again.
Yes.
The midfielder coming along because of
this fucking kid.
One player only. That is Harley Reid. The hype through all what Baseline do. Baseline do an amazing job. Just think, they probably don't even get to watch their own teams. Yeah. They're just out there watching these kids play, but they're dedicated to the cause, and it's good for us because we can sort of consume the draft a little bit more. See who's coming through. And he has just been the talk of the town. They told him he can't even play TAC Cup or whatever it's called. They're like, you're too good. Go play VFL. We need you to play VFL. Play against the men. He went down on the Bombers and apparently was manhandling people. They couldn't put the tape out. He's honestly palming blokes off. And you can fucking see it. We watched him. I know I've mentioned it a few times. The way that he attacks contests, he does not care. And the Prince of Perth, I love the footage of him and Fife running. Fife pushes him and he's just like, sit down.
Little boy.
He's so strong. He's taking hangers, kicking goals, bringing the team along with him. I thought he was best on. I know Yo was fantastic. Maybe I've just got the bias and I want to buy into him being the best. But I think impactful. And when he started hot, everyone comes with him.
So we were at the Mail Exchange Hotel. We're getting a couple of cocktails. We saw bits of this game. But in 10 minutes, he took that hanger in the goal square, goal, gets in the forward 50, direct goal assist. He kicks it to Jake Waterman, goal, and then quarter time siren. He takes another mark, goes back, kicks it after the siren. 3 goals in 5 minutes, game over from that point. He was the best player on the field. And it's just like, this kid is unbelievable. I'll tell you who's going to be embarrassed in that game, Caleb Sarong. He gave Caleb Sarong a bit of a bath in the midfield and forward. all of a sudden, Caleb Sarong's the best midfielder in the state and Brownlow medal form and stuff. This kid rocks up in his first medal and does in his first derby and does that. Oh, it's just going to make Sarong and Brayshaw better, but they're just going to be questioning themselves like, holy fuck, we're dealing with this cunt for the next 10 years, and he just tortured us. He made Nat Fyfe look like a little boy. He gave Nat Fyfe the granddad treatment. It was just fucked.
We said it after we watched the Swan. We're like, he only will need to play every team once, and he's going to have the respect of every single player. He's the perfect amount of cockiness and confidence, but it doesn't come across as arrogant. So he was just chatting to the, I think, what radio team, maybe Triple M over there or whatever. And he's like, oh, obviously David Mundy doesn't like me because he only gave me the one. And they all just started and he just started laughing. But that comes across as funny. Can you imagine if Jason Horne-Francis said that?
Yeah.
Like everyone would be like, who the fuck is this?
But he's always smiling, Harley Reid. Like he's always got the smile on his face. Doesn't care where the camera is. He's happy to smile, give it a thumbs up. Like he's loving the journey and he knows how good he is and all this. I was thinking, you old school schoolyard picked us. Schoolyard pick. You've got the whole of St Kilda's list and the whole of West Coast list stand in front of you. Pick one. Who you taking?
Harley Reid.
Absolute lock. Absolute lock. You take Harley Reid. You have to win that one game on that one day. Pick two. Who you taking? I'm taking Jeremy McGovern.
Yeah.
I think if you got to win one game for one game and the best prime of anyone or the best high-end form of anyone, I'm taking Jeremy McGovern. Then it's who's in better form now.
It's Waterman. You got to take the mud flap. Jev.
Then it's Elliot Yeo, Jack Steele, Tim Kelly, Seb Rott. Like I wanted to do this in the security segment. It was too early in the show. I would have been dead by the Saints fan. They won't listen this far because they would have turned it off. This kid has just changed everything. It's changed the timeline and everything. And yes, West Coast's going to stay average because McGovern's going to eventually retire and Darling, it's probably good he retires. But big mudflat Waterman is all of a sudden he's looking like fucking prime Wayne Carey or something. He's kicking snags. He's on fire because of this kid making everyone walk taller. I can't be the only one thinking this. It is fucked.
I'm with you. So maybe we're overreacting. I reshared the video when we spoke to Tom Morris. I said, will North, how much do they value those 4 points against Gold Coast last year? We had $237 on Gold Coast on the nose because we're like, North aren't losing to this kid. And I know they're happy with McKercher and Dersma, but those two kids would not be able to go over to West Coast and have that impact just because they're not that player. No one is like he is. He's like a man that has come in and he's just like this is my town. Like I'm just going to do whatever I want. But can you imagine what he would have done at North? Like, can you imagine?
We were saying during the week, North Melbourne's starting midfield tomorrow is LDU, Jason Horne-Francis, Harley Reid. How different that is to what they're running around with right now.
Oh, God, they butchered it. They absolutely butchered it. Jev, I'll get some odds, but it's so exciting for West Coast that they obviously won that derby. So you had Jake Waterman, Jev, for the second week in a row. So he kicked 6 goals and 5 goals. He's kicked 11 in 2 weeks. For 5 goals, the big fella was paying $23, which I'm shattered that's not more. Harley Reid, Jev, you couldn't get him for 3 goals.
You could. Really someone DM'd us a bet ticket. Bet365 gave him 81-1. He had 10 on it. $810 for Harley Reid, 3 goals.
Yeah. Fantastic.
It's awesome. So that was in our DMs.
Yeah, so it was $12 for 2. And then with the disposals, and then it's just pretty standard from there, Jev. Harley Reid, what was Harley Reid? So what do you have? 19 touches. So he's 212 for 20.
Yeah.
So he's still a great bet if you want to get him on for some more touches later on the year. He was 725 for 25 last week. Elliot Yeo had a great game. Jev, what was he paying for 25 touches? Elliot Yeo is $1.68. Yeah, so all the other touches are pretty small. But I do want to mention, do you see Harley Reid's got, what's that?
Did you see this post? Sorry, SEN posted. So Dan Hanbury was on the SEN call last night. He goes, He was doing stuff last night that Nat Fyfe was doing when he was winning Brownlows. He's a top 5 or 10 player already in the game. So it's like tipping.
Can we get him in the pyramid?
It's just not yet. But Dacos should have been in it his first year, and I was really harsh on him, and I look silly now not having him. It's like tipping. It's like when LeBron James first came into the league, and you're like, well,
Yeah.
you know he's going to be the best player in the league, but can you say he's a top 5, 10? But Dan Henry sort of saying he's like, no, it might be next year he's top 5 player in the year competing for Brownlows. Just say it now. We've seen enough. It's been 6 weeks and we've seen enough of the kid. So, yeah, what were you saying about Elliot Yeo? So he's been awesome. He's in all Australian form.
Yep, 100%. He's coming out. He's looking unbelievable. And it's just the standard that the kid brings.
Yep.
I just can't wait to see, like, what is his contract? So I know they've only got a certain amount of money that they can obviously give him through the AFL. How much money are they going to rig up through sponsorships? Like, how much are Hungry Jack's going to come in? How many whoppers is he going to get? Like,
how many
deals? Puma, like, what's his next contract? Is it going to be like 1.8?
Yeah,
Like,
100%.
Because not only that, think about the ticket sales. People are rocking up to watch him. If he's in Melbourne,
And he's in
and you're
Melbourne.
a half chance, you want to go watch.
I want to
don't you?
go watch him play in Melbourne as soon as he's there. So the West Coast have won 2 in a row. They're on the same amount of wins as Brisbane Lions and Kilda Football Club. 2 wins. They've got more wins than the Adelaide Crows, Richmond Tigers, Hawthorn, North Melbourne. Like, and it's on the back of this kid. And we saw it in the Swans game, didn't we? Like, you saw how good he is. So I'm going to see when they're playing in Melbourne next. Oh, they play the Pies Sunday in the Igloo. Sunday Marvel Stadium. 1:00 start. When do they play at the
West Coast
MCG?
are above Adelaide, Jev.
Yep. Isn't my call of West Coast going to win a final before Richmond? I've been saying it for 2 years. It's looking better and better by the day. Fucking hell.
Great game, Jev.
Oh, God. Let's get on to the next game.
Yeah.
The Swans beat the Gold Coast Suns by 53 points. Joel Amati kicks the first at 14-1. Das, this game wasn't close. It was not close. The Suns were good, and they are good, and they were good. But this is what they came up against, a team that's got prelim expectations, that wants to be their grand final day, that if you turn the ball over to, they make you pay. That all the intent from the Suns was great. Their tackling pressure, their game plan, everything about it, they were really good. They were young, they were good, but we were just too good for them. Nick Blakey is in all sorts of form right now for the Swans. I reckon he's the All-Australian halfback if the team was picked today. Did you watch this game, Das?
Yeah, I did. I was in and out of it, but it was, 11 points at halftime, and then you guys broke it open. What do you reckon? Like, honestly, obviously you're happy you won. It's a bit of a sort of game, do you think?
So I'm pretty sure...
Like, I was just like, like the pressure's there. 2 kicked a goal. Noah Anderson kicked a goal. He's a good player. But I'm like, wasn't really much like flair or like, it's just like, it's just a stock standard win. You guys just got it done.
It's just, there's another thing. I'll quickly go to this. When we met Will Schofield in Gather Round, I was just telling him, like, I really like when he does Sunday Arvo Western Australian games. I reckon he's really good. He doesn't say a whole heap. Him and Pav, they don't say a whole heap. And I was just telling Will Schofield, like, I like you on commentary. He goes, want to know why? Because I shut the fuck up and let the footy do the talking. People haven't turned the TV on to listen to me. They've turned the TV on to watch the footy. I'm there. I'll tell you who doesn't have that memo. Dermot fucking Brereton. The cunt wouldn't shut up. Oh, my God. Just let the footy do the talking to him. Fuck, he talks crap. Absolute crap.
Oh, Jev.
God.
I posted in the group chat straight away. I'm like, I reckon Dermy had a quiet night last night because he was waffling about everything.
I watched the first half with my old man, and every time we're just both like, shut up, Derm. Just shut up. He's just over-talking. Over-talking. Anyway, let's get back to the game. So I'm pretty sure, I don't know the exact number, we kicked 17 goals. I think 15 of them were from set shots. So it was just hunting on Gold Coast turnovers. It gets to the hands of Errol. It gets to the hands of Heaney. We get good looks. We take marks inside 50. We go back. We kick set shots. So we were just better than them. We're just at a different stage of like where we are. Isaac Heaney, 1 goal, 28 touches, 6 marks, 5 tackles. He was fucking awesome again in a win. I think Brodie Grundy could maybe get the 3, 29 hit-outs, a goal, 24 touches. But if Isaac Heaney gets another 1, 2, maybe 3 Brownlow votes, it's starting to get scary. It's getting scary at how good he's playing. Like, it's not like a joke anymore. We're up to round 6 and he's polled in every game he's played in nearly. So he was great. The Swans were just we were too good. Two different stages of rebuilding. The Suns are going to be so fucking good. They're going to be so good. They had a couple more young players out there. That Closey kid, he's awesome. He's kicked a really nice goal. They debuted that Rogers kid today. He was just trying to tackle all day.
I like him.
Everything. So the Suns are going to be great, but people were damning the 100K saying the Suns are going to upset the Swans. Mark my words, Jevy, blah, blah, blah. And I had to damn him back. Like, let's settle down a little bit. This game wasn't really close. And yeah, because I think the Suns are good. My eyes popped out when they were giving me $2.12 for 1 to 39. Because the Swans were paying, what were we paying head to head? We were paying
$1.60?
$1.34 head to head. So then when we're $2.12, 1 to 39, I didn't have much on it, but I'm like, what I did is
it's going to be close.
Whatever same game multi-stake I was going to have. So it was only $10, $10 at 1 to 39 to win back 20. So then I got a free crack at the same game multi, but we just pumped them. So we got it done. We beat them by over 39 points. I would talk about it more, but it wasn't necessarily close. We were too good. We roll on. There's only one team with more wins than Carlton and the Swans dust, and that's Geelong, who you play next week. We're second on the ladder, you're fourth on the ladder, and we're all a game clear of Port Adelaide and Melbourne now. So
the next few weeks of footy are just getting better and better. So Heaney's Brownlow favourite, Jev, outright, obviously at the moment. $5 he's into. Bont $9, Rosie 10, Cripps is into 10, Tom Green's out to $10, Jev. Sarong 12, I don't reckon he'll be thereabouts. Petrarca is a good time to buy if you want. Not sure Dacos gets votes yesterday, but $13. And Zach Butters is still at 18. Does he he was the highest ranked player on the ground yesterday, or second. Can he steal a vote? Probably not. It probably all goes to Collingwood players, but.
Righto, I've got odds here. So let's go goals first. Who do you want to know for goals?
Marty kicked 4, Jev. I know you had money on him.
Yeah, 14 to 1. I had a little sprinkle on that.
Tom Papley for 3.
Tom Papley for 3 was $3.45.
McDonald.
$3.60.
Wicks for 2. And
$3.60. Who was the other one for 2?
Will Hayward.
Will Hayward for 2, $2.75. These are all good odds. Like, you only need just one of these with a smaller leg in your multi. What about Gold Coast? You got 6 to 1 for Brodie Grundy to kick his first goal for the club, which is nice.
What about Closeley? What he paid?
He was
for 1.
$1.78. He's kicked one every week he's played footy. He can play.
Yes.
Who else kicked him for? Was there any multiples for Gold Coast?
No, nothing that would be paying much.
Ben King kicked his for the multi, $1.41. If a lot of people had Ben King 2 in their multi, kicked it with a minute to go.
Braden Fiorini for 1. I'm sure those
$2.35.
That's actually right. What about disposals? Flanders for 34.
Flanders. You could get $2.10 for his 30.
Yeah, nice. Matty Roberts for 20.
My man, Matty. $2.20 for 20. That's nice.
That's nice.
He was his $1.56 for 25. That was in the 100K. Errol was $1.52. That was in the 100K. That was your leg for 25.
What was McInerney playing for 25?
I did not know he had 25. $3.60 for 25. You would have got McInerney.
So his family and friends would be eating well tonight. If you had a family friend, you'd back him every time. Jev, we're closing in on an hour. We'll wrap it up. Good round of footy. We'll quickly just touch on. So Hawks and North. Hawks are doing them by 38 points. To be expected, Jev.
North stink. Did Guinea kick his second? I think he did because we just got a text. He did just kick his second goal. So Hawks are going to get that done. They're 40 points better than... They're the second worst team and they're 40 points better than the last team. So North are in trouble. I do not know when North Melbourne are going to be good because they don't have a key defender on their list. So
no, they don't.
Look,
Eddie Ford,
Jacob Wiedering and What year did you draft Jacob Wiedering? 2013, pick one?
Maybe before. We got him, Mackay, and Kerno
in draft.
That's what you want.
But it's taken... So I'm pretty sure it was 2013 or maybe 2014. You drafted and pick one, but it's taken to 2023 for you to win a final. So it's taking basically 7 to 8 years of developing them to get them to where they are today to start winning finals and stuff. North don't have the key defender on their list, and then they've got to develop him for 6 years to win the final. They are ages away.
Yeah, it's
fucking
cool.
ages away. And Larky will be done by then. Not done, but like he'll be 30 something. Anyway, let's not end this now. Hey, great round of footy. Fucking that's the Sunday roast. Give it a listen. See you later. Like, subscribe. See you, Dad.
Luke Pricey, bash.